With the recent breaking news that we got on Terence Bud Crawford in regards to the Errol Spence rematch, it looks like now that Bud is a full-blown free agent. And Oscar De La Hoya has already reached out to Terence Bud Crawford. We're going to talk about in this video what Oscar had to say to Bud Crawford, who could Oscar De La Hoya offer to Bud Crawford, and what that news that we found out about the rematch between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence is. Make sure you hit my like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subbed, and let's talk about it. With the recent news that we just received about the fight between Bud Crawford and Errol Spence, well, it looked like it probably not going to be a fight because according to the news that came out, Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, the contract is now expired. Yes, that contract has now expired, so Terence Bud Crawford is a full-blown free agent. Means that he can go and discuss whatever fight he wants to take with whoever promoter he wants to go with, if any. Now, one thing we know about Terence Bud Crawford and one thing we know about Canelo Alvarez is Canelo Alvarez, he don't want to fight David Benavidez and has made it clear he ain't fighting David Benavidez. And Terence Bud Crawford has made it clear, yeah, y'all know what I'm going to say, he's not fighting Jaron Boots Ennis. He don't want no parts of Jaron Ennis. So we know that's not going to go down. Now, if you ask me, Bud Crawford has two major fights that he can put on that's with the PBC. And that is a rematch with Errol Spence, or he can fight Jermell Charlo, because Jermell Charlo and Bud Crawford, they have a lot of history, and it's still a big fight. I don't know how many of the straps that Jermell Charlo still holds, because I've been hearing news that they are threatening to strip Jermell Charlo of all of his straps. I don't know why. It makes no sense. But if that happens, then we could pretty much kiss a fight between Terence Crawford and Jermell Charlo goodbye. And also, Bud Crawford has said that he has no interest in fighting Jermell Charlo. But we can't never take Bud for his word, because he'll tell you one thing today and tell you the complete opposite tomorrow. That's still a big fight. That's still a fight that I would love to see. And I believe a lot of the fans would still love to see Jermell Charlo and Bud Crawford fight each other. The biggest fight with the PBC that can be made for Terence Bud Crawford is probably the rematch with Errol Spence. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know what's going down with that. We know that Terence Bud Crawford, he's just not obligated to go through with that anymore because the contract has expired. Now, is it Errol Spence's fault that the contract has expired? No, because we know all of the things that went on with Showtime and the PBC with the network switch. Now PBC is on Amazon Prime. So, I mean, the fight couldn't have possibly happened already. And everybody knows that. But if Bud is a smart businessman, I think that's the route that he would take. That's the route that he should take, and say, it don't matter if the contract has expired or not. If y'all are willing to put the fight on, I'm willing to go through with it. But we got to wait and see what happens. Now, I've been hearing a lot of news, and this is not coming from Team Bud Crawford's camp. It's coming from the same channel that lies all the time. These certain channels, y'all know who they are. But the news is coming out that Bud Crawford is going to wait on the winner between Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu. Now, I sure don't know how true that is, because to me, that would not make any sense. We all know that Bud Crawford was complaining in negotiations with the Errol Spence fight because he didn't want to sit out a year. So Bud Crawford saying that he didn't want to be out of the ring a year, he went on and fought David I've been sneezing. Now, if Bud Crawford waits on Tim Tszyu and Keith Thurman, he'll probably be out of the ring over a year and a half, 16, 17 months. And to get in the ring with a Tim Tszyu or a Keith Thurman out of the ring that long, do y'all think that Bud is really going to want to do that? I don't think so. So, Oscar De La Hoya, De La Fishnets, whatever y'all want to call him, he has reached out to Terence Bud Crawford, or he tried to reach out to Bud Crawford, and he says, Bud, hit me up. When I seen the tweet, the first thing that came to my mind is, what the hell is Bud gonna hit you up for? You don't have no fighters for Bud Crawford to fight. Not at 147. And who do you got at 154 for Bud to fight? That was the first thing that I thought. I said, because last time we seen Oscar De La Hoya trying to do a deal with Terence Crawford, he was trying to get him to fight sorry ass Alexis Rocha. And I told everybody that Alexis Rocha, he was sorry. Everybody said I was hating and all of that, but now y'all see exactly what I said, because Alexis Rocha has already gotten his ass knocked out since then. So we know that fight ain't gonna happen, and who wants to see that fight anyway? But then I said, oh, I forgot. Oscar De La Hoya does have a superstar over there, or a potential superstar. He got a real dog in Virgil Ortiz. Yes, Virgil Ortiz. A lot of us forgot about Virgil Ortiz because he was going through so many health issues and he was out of the sport of boxing for so long. But Virgil Ortiz is now back. He's had one tune-up fight. Didn't last too long. It was a controversial stoppage, but Virgil looked just like he did the last time we seen him in the ring before he took the long layoff. So Virgil Ortiz and Terence Crawford, that's a fight that's been talked about for years. We've been talking about that fight ever since Bud was over there with Top Rank. And we all know at one point in time, Virgil wasn't ready for that fight. But Virgil is now at a new weight division at 154. And Terence Crawford, he's talking about going to 154. So the only fight that Oscar De La Hoya can get Terence Crawford to sign with him for is Virgil Ortiz. I believe that's a good fight. I believe it's a highly competitive fight. And I love that fight, actually, if you ask me. Who else does Golden Boy Oscar De La Hoya have? Nobody. It ain't nobody else he could be asking Terence Crawford to hit him up for besides Virgil Ortiz at 154. Now, Virgil doesn't have a strap at 154, but who cares? If Bud is good as everybody say he is, and I think Bud is a special fighter, he would go over there, he could whoop Virgil Ortiz, and then he could have a mega fight between Tim Tszyu or Keith Thurman, whoever wins that fight. That makes all the sense in the world. Not Bud sitting out, 16, 17 months waiting on the winner of Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu, because Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu, that fight is taking place on March the 30th. So we know neither one of them are going to be ready to fight until probably the winter time. You know what I'm saying? The winter time at the soonest, or early next year. Bud ain't trying to sit out all that time. Now, I'm not saying that Bud Crawford is a guaranteed win over Virgil Ortiz. Yes, I would pick Bud over Virgil, but Virgil ain't no pushover. Virgil's a real dog. That boy can fight. You know what I'm saying? He's still green, he's still young. But, I mean, if you ask Igis Karvelasquez, he said that Virgil Ortiz was a more difficult fight than Terence Crawford was. He even said that Virgil hits harder than Terence Crawford. But we got to see how that fight plays out if they get in the ring. I would like to see that fight, Virgil Ortiz and Bud Crawford, Golden Boy Promotions. Let me know in the comments what y'all think about that fight. How y'all feel about that? Would y'all want to see that? Would y'all pay to see Virgil Ortiz and Terence Crawford? Drop a comment in the comment section. Make sure you hit my like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subbed, and y'all already know how I do. Dago talking that boxing again, and I'm gone.
Bass up loud, I slide, glide, choking on that needle.